For anybody who's been watching me for any length of time, you guys know that I have been constantly talking about be careful who you bring around your children. On top of that, I think the biggest advocates for kids should definitely be the biological parents. In this case, you would think that a mother would be the pillar example of taking care of your children and not putting them in any harm's way. But in this case, you have not only a mother, but a boyfriend, hashtag mom's boyfriend, who have done something, and sometimes you could judge a book by its cover, and you might not be wrong if you did it here, if you take a look at that picture right there. But I want y'all to hear the story. We're going to tell it from the heart, and I'm going to just be real with y'all and give y'all my honest opinion, okay? Before we get into the details, let me adjust this, and let me give you a disclaimer. In case I use some strong language, this is intended for mature audiences. Mommy of three, let's get it.
Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, new website articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer.
And let me say this, if you guys are watching me from the state of Texas or something like that, if y'all know me personally, make sure to type something in the chat so I'll know who you are. Like if it's somebody I know like in real life, because I know sometimes people will watch and they're not really typing anything, but make sure you let me know if y'all are watching so I can know who's who. Let me give a shout out to Mel Hugh for you in the building. Big supporter in the chat, so thank you very much. Bronze Flat Power God in the building, what up? And Shh Boo is in the building. I like that name. But thank you. And Tiffany Copeland, thank you for rejoining on your channel membership. Much love. I want to say that and appreciate you. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. I have this story coming from Denver7.com. So thank you very much. So court documents obtained by Denver 7 detail a pattern of alleged abuse inside a Denver home in the days leading up to the death of a 2-year-old girl. And that's this angel right here. I was very lucky to do a little research online. And y'all see this beautiful angel right here, right? That's Dad's little girl right there. Beautiful little angel. That is Valkyrie Erickson, and I like that name. I don't know what Valkyrie means. Maybe I should Google search it and look it up. I like the name. Beautiful little angel, okay? She was 2 years old, and mother and boyfriend are now under arrest. How long have we been talking about mom's boyfriend? The girl's mother... let me see. Actually, let me get the mom up here so y'all can see her. The mom. Got a lot of pictures of the biological dad, but don't mistake, that's not this guy. That's the boyfriend right there, okay? This is mom. 38-year-old Melissa Wayne. She does not look 38. She has the eyes of a 60 or 70-year-old person and the eyeballs. Y'all can see them jaundiced eyes right there. Was arrested Tuesday evening and being held for investigation of child abuse resulting in death. Meanwhile, her boyfriend, y'all not going to believe. How old do y'all think this man is? Take a guess. Would y'all believe that this man is actually a handful of years younger than me? Let's back that up like a U-Haul truck. Look at his face. Would y'all think that this man is 38 years old? 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. I'm 5 years older than him. 5 years older than him. He got them Will Smith airplane ears sticking off the side of his head like that. Like he just looks like the type like, yep, whatever it was you accused him of, yep, he did it. He definitely did it. Let me give another shout out. Thank you, Shh Boo, in the chat. Thank you tell me if I'm pronouncing that right. That might not even be how I pronounce it. But thank you to you, and thank you to Jill Thompson for rejoining on channel membership. I want to say much love. Thank y'all for doing that. And thank you, Tanea, over there in the Cash App. And thank you, Queen Z, for showing some love in the Cash App as well. Thank you guys very much. And they call me B. It's a we thing. Thank you very much. I would have never have guessed that dude is 38 years old, but his name, that is Nicholas Stout, S-T-O-U-T, and was arrested Sunday evening on a murder charge, according to court documents. So the 2-year-old girl Valkyrie was found unresponsive early Sunday at a home in the 100 block of S. Vrain, Vrain, Vrain. I don't know why I had trouble even trying to say that street, and pronounced dead at the scene. Meanwhile, the details about the cause of death of Valkyrie's, the details about Valkyrie's death have yet to be released. Court documents state that Stout, the boyfriend, blamed the child's injuries on multiple falls. How many times have you guys heard that? Don't y'all think that's funny? How they always blame the injuries on the kids. The kids are clumsy. They fell down a flight of steps. They fell off a 2-story building. They fell and bumped their head and crushed 13 bones in their body. Like, it's always some weird ass excuse that they give for how this happens. Like, it never ceases to amaze me, the stories they come up with. So he said from multiple falls is what caused this baby's death. Or maybe multiple abusive beatings. Maybe it's something like that. Thank you, Mel Hugh, for you showing some love in the super chat. Much love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This contrasts with witness statements to police alleging that Stout was aggressive towards the child and that smacking sounds were often heard coming from the bedroom. The document states that Wayne and Stout told police that Valkyrie fell while jumping on the bed Saturday. Stout said he later left for cigarettes around midnight, returned to find her crying, and she went back to sleep. She was found unresponsive the next morning. Can you even count? Anybody who's watching me for any length of time, can y'all count how many times you've heard that same BS narrative? That is bullshit to the fullest, if I ever heard it. And y'all know, if y'all know y'all have heard this narrative before, type it in the chat. Please make sure y'all hit that thumbs up. We've heard that all too often. That's the biological father. It's just like, why can't you just leave the kids with the other biological parent if it's going to come to this? Like, I don't understand that. If you need love that bad with a man that don't love your kid, don't like your kid, and that kid looks like the person that created him, baby, look just like this man. Maybe give up custody if you're going to choose love over your child. That's the best thing. But hearing all, they love so much, and they want to keep control of these babies, #babies for benefits, right? That they are willing to not only lose the life of the child, but also lose the person that they were in a relationship with to prison. And then now they're going to go to prison because the law is finally starting to catch up with these people. And shout out to Ms. V, Make This Go Viral Crime Podcast in the building. Much love. Thank you very much. Make sure y'all sub to her channel. Post the link in there, please. She's also going to be held accountable for the role that she played by neglecting her child or whatever beating or whatever it is that she did that took place. I am glad to start seeing that these laws are catching up with these people, because I'm sorry, but when y'all have heard me use this analogy before. These people take their children to the Thug Lion Zoo, to play with the Thug Lion, leave that kid alone, and the Thug Lion behaves like a Thug Lion does and murders and mauls a kid, and next thing you know, the parents are like, that lion ain't never harmed me. I didn't think the lion would harm the baby. When in all actuality, that child should have never been around the Thug Lion. So yes, I agree that the parents who put these children in these effed up positions need to be held more accountable. However, according to a probable cause statement, Wayne told police she had seen Stout hit the girl at least twice the night before her death. She saw him do it. She saw something, didn't say nothing. And thank you for rejoining on the channel membership right there. You see, Ms. V has been amazing for an extremely long time. Thank you very, very much. And you know, I appreciate you. Much love, Ms. V. So you saw it. You knew this happened. Didn't report it. Didn't take your kid to the doctor. Did nothing. She said he yelled at the girl about toileting multiple times. So she knew that he was being abusive. Police say in documents that while on the scene, officers spoke with the man who had been living at the home for about a week. He told them he heard Stout, the boyfriend, frequently yelling at the child. Let me say that again. Frequently yelling at the child. And slapping noises coming from the bedroom where Valkyrie stays with Melissa and Nichols. And you know what? Maybe they need to arrest him too for knowing that this was going on and then you didn't recall and report it, didn't say anything. Don't like that either. During later interviews, the man said he heard the suspect yelling and screaming during the time that Stout had claimed he left to go get cigarettes. So that invalidates that BS story. The housemate stated that between the hours of 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. on January the 17th, 2026, depending on when you're watching this, about a week ago, that he heard the yelling and screaming continue. The housemaid heard Nicholas say something to the effect of, "You effing bit me, B-I-T, bit me, and I effing hate you." The housemaid stated that it was in close proximity in the time after those statements that the baby stopped crying and everything went quiet for the rest of the night. Other residents in the home characterized Nicholas as a short-fused, hot-headed, unpredictable, and aggressive individual. So everybody knew. This is why I believe Mom deserves prison time just for that alone and for lying. During police interviews, investigators told the suspect that officers observed bloody rags in the trash can in the home and a bloody handprint on the wall. Stout claimed blood evidence recovered from the scene was from a bloody lip the child sustained during Saturday's fall. That much blood? That sounds like a lot of damage. Whoever heard or seen something what was happening to this baby needs to be charged as well. How many of y'all agree with Vicky in the chat? Because I 100% agree with that. 100% agree. And Sherry, you know what? Thank you for recalling that, and I'm glad you said that. I'm going to read what she said. Sherry Jordan said, "All children deserve good parents. Not all people deserve children." So I don't know where that quote originated from, but I love it, and thank you for posting it in the chat, because that is very deep. Blood evidence recovered from the scene, he said, came from a bloody lip that the child sustained from a fall. But it was, what was it? It was bloody rags and a bloody handprint. That's a lot of blood. Wayne told investigators the child had fallen from the bed while the family was watching a football game earlier in the day. But police said that the injuries to Valkyrie's body were too significant to have been produced by a fall. They noted in court documents that there were bruises in various stages of healing that's prolonged over a period of time, and other injuries to her head and body. So Mom ignored that too. Nicholas described Valkyrie as a daredevil, quote unquote, and stated that she liked to jump around on the bed. During the time that they were trying to sleep on Friday night, Valkyrie started to jump over Melissa, then over Nicholas, and was about to jump off the bed. Nicholas said that he put his arm over to catch Valkyrie and stop her from jumping off the bed. In the process of grabbing her, she hit her head on the nightstand or coffee table that was next to his bed. Let me know when y'all believe any of this, please. Stout is facing charges of first-degree murder, I like that, and child abuse resulting in death. The suspect was denied bond during his first court appearance. Because I'm telling y'all, if y'all wonder why I do these stories, it's because I effing hate bullies. Especially people who bully babies. I hate them. I wish all the breath to be taken from their body, never to return. There's a special place in hell for people who hurt, murder, and abuse little innocent babies. Hopefully, if y'all ever wonder why I do this podcast, that is why. God bless the ones that are the good ones. God bless the advocates. Okay? I know we got a lot of good ones in my chat. So he's facing first-degree murder. The suspect was denied bond. Wayne made her first court appearance for an advisement hearing on Wednesday. According to the criminal records pulled by Denver 7, Stout pleaded guilty in Denver County to kidnapping in 2005 and received 5 years of intensive probation. 7 years later, Stout pleaded guilty to impersonating a police officer in Denver after charges of burglary, arson, and weapons possession by a prior offender were dismissed. Can we get a hashtag, when you date thugs, you date death? Shout out to Church Lady. I see you in the building. What up, what up, what up? Y'all do me a favor and please hit that thumbs up. Let's go ahead and take a look at our news stories. Here we go. The news videos.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
Y'all can always do what you can. When you get an opportunity, just share these videos in your true favorite crime groups, wherever you can find them at. If they accept videos from YouTube, post them in there and share the links, especially with these particular stories, because sometimes they will have certain groups for certain children. So if you get a chance, share it. That's a good way to help spread the word, okay? Here we go. Let's get it.
All right, happening today, the mother of a 2-year-old who was killed in Denver over the weekend is set to appear in court.
38-year-old Melissa Wayne now facing charges, including child abuse resulting in death charges. Fox 31's Courtney Fromm live outside the courthouse with more. Some disturbing details in this case for sure. It's just a tough situation to learn about, Courtney.
Yeah, good morning. Disturbing to say the least. And we had talked to people who live in the area. They're just absolutely shocked to hear something like this would happen. So just a really overall heartbreaking situation. Now, Wayne is expected to be in court at 10:30. She is behind bars right now with no bond allowed. Now, her boyfriend, we covered this yesterday, Nicholas Stout, was also taken into custody on Sunday after the infant was found dead at a home on North Vrain Street early that morning. Now, Stout, is facing murder charges and appeared in court yesterday for a brief first hearing. He was denied bail. Now, according to the court documents, both of the suspects gave conflicting stories about how the toddler got hurt on Saturday night. Stout, that is the male in this, originally told police that the toddler was jumping and fell off of the bed, which is how she sustained her injuries. However, the mother, who's going to be in court today, she told officers the toddler rolled off the bed and she witnessed Stout yelling and smacking her child on Saturday night. Court records state those who lived in the house with Stout described him as short-fused, hot-headed, unhinged, and very, very aggressive. Now, neighbors in the area shocked to hear that happened to that little girl. Now, some other details about this case, they are very disturbing. Like I said, very hard to kind of read or listen to, but we have more information for you on this on our website at kdvr.com. But for now, live in Denver, Courtney.
The child's mother is being held for investigation of child abuse resulting in death. Now, we've been reviewing the arrest affidavit for Nicholas Stout, who was arrested on Sunday. He was in a relationship with Wayne. Now, it was Sunday morning around 5:30 when police responded to a call about an unresponsive child. When they got to the home, they found a man trying to perform CPR on that child. Now, court documents identify him as the accused man's uncle. The child's mother was also inside the home at the time, and so was her boyfriend, Nicholas Stout. Now, the child's mother told officers the little girl had been jumping on the bed the day before and fell off, leaving her with bruises to her head and face and an injury to her mouth. Now, Nicholas described the toddler as a daredevil. He said that on Friday he tried to stop her from jumping off the bed, and in the process of doing that, she hit her head on a nightstand. Now, police also spoke with a man who had been living in the home for about a week. He told officers Nicholas Stout frequently yelled at the child, and he could hear slapping noises coming from the bedroom where she stayed with her mom. Now, he said between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. on January 17th, he heard yelling and screaming, and shortly after that, everything was quiet for the rest of the night. Now, Nicholas Stout was arrested on suspicion of first-degree murder and child abuse resulting in death. Both he and Wayne remain behind bars tonight. Shalima Maharaj, 9 News.
Right, well, also happening this morning, a man accused of killing a 2-year-old right here in Denver is scheduled to make his first court appearance.
Yeah, Courtney Fromm is live for us talking about what this case is all about and what the sentence could involve.
Yeah, just a heartbreaking story. You hate to have to cover something like this, even just to talk about it. You know, it's really kind of a sad situation. But officers say the 2-year-old died at the scene, but they have not been identified. They don't usually do that with kiddos under the age of 17 or so. So we know 38-year-old Nicholas Stout was arrested and now facing charges of first-degree murder and child abuse resulting in death. That is the man who is set to be in court this morning. Now, police did not mention Stout's relationship to the child, but we also checked Stout's criminal history, and it shows him first being arrested more than 20 years ago. The records also show he has been arrested for a number of felonies. Several cases were dismissed, but in one instance, the records show he pleaded guilty to impersonating a police officer back in 2012. We did talk to people who live in the area. They're pretty upset to hear about it. Obviously, it's kind of hard to know this happened, but right now, it's not clear what the relation was of Stout and this this child, but he is set to be in court at 10:30 this morning. For now, live in Denver, Courtney Fromm, Daybreak on 2.
I'm curious. I want to know what you guys think. We have a poll in the chat right now. I want to know what you guys think. Do mom and boyfriend deserve prison time? Because this is something I've been talking about for a while. And yes, I do believe that if you're the primary caretaker of the child, I don't know if they had split custody or what, but in this case, it seemed like the mom had this baby more than anybody did. You have an elevated level of responsibility to do what is best by this child. And knowing that this man clearly, like, I don't know if it's just he don't like kids or he just don't like just people, period. Like, he just looks like a terrible human being. And the fact that he's under 40 years old is just mind-blowing on top of that. But yes, I think that there deserves to be an elevated level of responsibility. That heavy crown should fall on the caretaker. So yes, I do believe that mom deserves prison time. So a life sentence, maybe not a life sentence, but I think that 10 years will probably do her good for knowing that her baby was in danger and did nothing. The man definitely deserves life in prison. That should be an open and shut case for first-degree murder. And he lied. They ought to get an extra 5 years apiece just for lying, okay? And there's a special place in hell for people like this. So let me know what you guys think about this story. Lil Valkyrie deserved every opportunity to grow up and become something great. So instead of 3 people between the baby, mom, and mom's boyfriend, 3 people losing their livelihoods and losing their lives, she literally, and they had a GoFundMe too. I'm sorry, I didn't talk about that. So they have a GoFundMe. Where is it at? See if I can find it. That's the GoFundMe, but I don't know if I have the total dollar amount that they were. He wasn't even asking a whole lot. I think he was only asking for like $2,500. Yeah, hold on. It's right here. $2,600. Let me put this on the screen so y'all can find it. Right here. So you know I'm not making nothing up. Dad is asking for $2,600. I'm pretty sure he's already met his goal. That's super easy to do. They could do that really quick. I don't think he's looking for no come up behind his baby. I think he loved his little daughter. That baby could have grown up to become anything. And if these people loved each other so much, all they had to do was just give up custody and let this man, this dad, the one who actually does care, just let him have custody. And y'all could have went about your happy little lives, but they never want to do that. And that's this thing that I think that continues these people hold on to it. It's called babies for benefits. Why else would they not give up custody? Because you can't explain it. Because it ain't love. And it's not for the betterment of the kid. So thank you to little baby Valkyrie. Let me show you my favorite picture of her. That one. Big old pretty eyes. Young princess, R.I.P. Thank you guys for listening to her story. Make sure you share it. Whenever they do a final sentencing, we'll come back and tell you how many hundreds of years they got in prison. Maybe permanently, like a life sentence. All right? Thank you. Bad parents. Louisiana is one of my favorite places to visit. And this is in Baton Rouge. I like New Orleans a lot better than Baton Rouge. But with this particular case, you just can't make excuses for people just behaving this stupidly. So I definitely want to expose this. Y'all do me a favor and share this. Make it go viral. I don't care if people get mad about it. I just think that when people are bad to kids, it needs to be exposed, okay? So if I use some strong language, just know that it is not appropriated for children. This is intended for mature audiences, so that way I can hopefully keep my monetization. Let's get it.
Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, new website articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer.
So I'm getting this story from WAFB.com. So thank you to them for the article. And thank y'all for subbing to each other in the chat. Y'all, please continue to do that. Ms. V, post your channel in there from time to time so people know where to find you. Church lady, make sure y'all post y'all channel in there, okay? Lawmakers demanded explanations Wednesday after a 5-year-old boy. And matter of fact, here's another person that I need to give a huge shout out to. Illicit Deeds. Illicit Deeds, through all the stuff my friend has been through. I want to give her a big shout out. Looking to the camera when I say this. She's been through a lot, and she's still pushing through, making sure and keeping that content up there, continuing to advocate for victims, period, not just children. But in this case, we both had difficulty finding out the identity, not only the identity of the child, but which child it was that was harmed in the situation. This child is not going to be around anymore because this child is deceased. So there's no reason not to, for us to at least be able to put a picture out there and say, this is the child, this is the baby that we lost. Here's the story behind it. So shout out to Illicit Deeds on Facebook and illicitdeeds.com. I actually found this, and I made sure that we shared this with her. This is the boy. This is the boy that I believe was the boy that had special needs, somewhat disabled, bedridden, okay? That was him. Lawmakers asked why they did not find out about the death sooner than they did, with many saying they first found out about it through news reports. So there was a 5-year-old boy who died from apparent starvation at an Ascension parish, weighing only 19 pounds at the time of his death. Again, that is a 5-year-old boy only weighing 19 pounds. Something highly wrong with that. And I'm positive, and that actually proves the picture that I did get the right child, okay? The parents of the deceased child, 33-year-old Marlon Perilou and 27-year-old Raynissa Young. Y'all remember how I said parents shouldn't be fathers under 30, mothers under 25, and they're over that threshold. And even then, I want people to understand that that's just a measure saying that people usually are more mature at a later age, and men usually are making more money and more mature after the age of 30 years old. It does not guarantee that just because you are past that threshold that you're not going to do some stupid shit. Okay? Want to make that very clear because people just totally miss my point. I'm talking about as a whole, I think society would be better having slightly older parents. I don't think it's good for boys and men to be fathers at 17, 18, 19 years old, nor mothers at that same age. I think they do better a little bit later, even though these people failed me on this statistic also. Now, during a heated session before the task force on child abuse investigations at the state capitol, lawmakers questioned why they were never notified about the death. And yes, that's that alleged mother right there. Thinks she cute. Video obtained exclusively by WAFB I-Team shows the inside of the family's Geismar apartment, or Geismar. I don't know how to pronounce that. Geismar, whatever. Their apartment, revealing the conditions where investigators say that 5-year-old Marley Perilou was starved to death. Let me see if I can make this bigger on the screen for you guys. Do y'all remember the story of, let me see if I can make this bigger on the screen for you guys. Do y'all remember the story of, let me see if I can make this bigger on the screen for you guys. Do y'all remember the story of, let me see if I can make this bigger on the screen for you guys. Do y'all remember the story of, let me see if I can make this bigger on the screen for you guys. Do y'all remember the story of, let me see if I can make this bigger on the screen for you guys. Do y'all remember the story of, let me see if I can make this bigger on the screen for you guys. Do y'all remember the story of, let me see if I can make this bigger on the screen for you guys. Do y'all remember the story of, let me see if I can make this bigger on the screen for you guys. Do y'all remember the story of, let me see if I can make this bigger on the screen for you guys. Do y'all remember the story of, let me see if I can make this bigger on the screen for you guys. Do y'all remember the story of, let me see if I can make this bigger on the screen for you guys. Do y'all remember the story of, let me see if I can make this bigger on the Bryant, Kelly Marie Bryant, the lady that left her kids alone for 5 years, abandoned them, hoping that they would die, and they just didn't die. Y'all remember her? Remember how nasty her place was after 5 years? I want y'all to take a look at this. This is only part of it. The news video is going to show you a bit more. I want y'all to see how effing disgusting this is. And it's not for lack of money either. These are just nasty, filthy, disgusting people. I hope y'all are not eating right now. And if you are, I'm sorry. I just needed to make sure that we understand this very, very clearly, okay? They were allegedly drug dealers. Therefore, they were not broke. Not broke at all. They're just horrible ass, stinking ass, disgusting people. Okay? But let's get into talking about that drug dealing here in a minute. So the little boy is actually the one on the right-hand side right there. The bedridden one. That's 5-year-old Marley Perilou. Starved to death. The child died on New Year's Day, prompting intense scrutiny from lawmakers frustrated over the lack of notification by state officials. The question is when that notification should be triggered, said Kathleen Ritchie, a former East Baton Rouge juvenile court judge who now serves as an ombudsman. The department is notifying me that they are investigating. I'm not notifying the legislators because that's not what the law says. The law says when the death occurred due to abuse or neglect. Ritchie's job includes notifying lawmakers about the child's death when there are confirmed cases of neglect. In the case, lawmakers were not notified because the state investigating is still ongoing. States, we could skip all that. That's a bunch of political bullcrap. Both parents were arrested and charged within 24 hours of the child's death. They face charges of negligent homicide, cruelty to juveniles, and drug charges. Negligent. I didn't hear anything about death in there, but whatever. This is probably the worst case of child neglect I've seen in my 34 years of law enforcement, and that's according to the Sheriff Lieutenant Colonel Donald Capello. Perilou and Young, which is the parents in this situation, remain in custody with no bond. Investigators say that the child weighed only 19 pounds and died of apparent malnutrition. Again, that child was 5 years old. Authorities also found signs the child had suffered multiple injuries during his short life. Current state law requires notification to lawmakers only after the conclusion of a Department of Children and Family Services investigation. Barrow says she will propose legislation changes in response to the case. I don't know why any of that even matters. Whatever. As a result of Wednesday's discussion, officials are considering notification procedures that will alert lawmakers when child dies following an arrest. Prosecutors could also upgrade charges against the parents as the investigation continues, but I'm pretty sure you'll see some type of, I don't know if it's murder, second degree murder or something like that, but you should see way more serious charges than what we just named. So y'all do me a favor while this chick is sticking her tongue out like that thinking she's cute. She's not. I'll give you the fair usage.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
And I do these stories, and I think about my kids all the time. My daughter's watching me right now, so love you, princess. Want to give her a big shout out and say, Daddy loves you, all right? Continue to keep doing good and keep doing your thing, all right? So y'all shout out my baby in the chat. If y'all would do that, that'd be awesome. Y'all do me a favor and please hit that thumbs up. Let's take a look at the news videos while I get tongue-tied, all right? Let's get it.
See you in just a bit. From the WFBI team now, lawmakers say the system failed when it comes to a child who died from apparent starvation in Ascension Parish. The 5-year-old weighed only 19 pounds.
His parents, Marlon Perilou and Renisha Young, are charged with negligent homicide and child cruelty. Tonight, lawmakers asked pointed questions about who knew what and when, and why they were never notified about it. Our chief investigator, Chris Nakamoto, was at the Capitol today as lawmakers demanded an explanation into how this happened. Chris.
Well, good evening, Liz and Greg. Many lawmakers found out about all of this after watching WAFB's 6 p.m. news on Friday, although some sitting on the committee said today was the first time ever that they heard of it. Tonight, one lawmaker is promising changes after this 5-year-old's death. A house of horror, a family living in squalor, as seen in this video from inside their Geismar apartment, obtained exclusively by the WAFBI team. The inside of the house shows the conditions inside, where investigators say 5-year-old Marley Perilou starved to death, weighing only 19 pounds when he died.
When we found out about it, this was the first that this child had not been seen. And
the child was 5.
His death this month in Ascension Parish, the focus of a heated back and forth at the state capitol Wednesday before the task force on child abuse investigations.
So that's in my parish. Yes. I didn't even know anything about that.
Lawmakers fuming over the lack of notification by the state.
The question is when that notification should be triggered is the question.
That is the question.
The department is notifying me that they're investigating. I'm not notifying the legislators because that's not what the law says. The law says when the death occurred due to abuse or neglect.
Kathleen Ritchie, seen here, is a former East Baton Rouge juvenile court judge who now serves as an ombudsman. It's her job to give notifications to lawmakers about child deaths when there are confirmed cases of neglect. In this case, Ritchie says lawmakers were not notified about the child's death because the investigation by the state is still not completed.
Do you feel like the system failed?
Absolutely. It absolutely failed. It failed in multiple areas, and I am going to keep digging. I know that it's still an ongoing investigation, but I will continue to dig to find out why it failed and who is actually responsible for this failure.
Within 24 hours of the child dying on New Year's Day, the parents were both arrested, charged with negligent homicide, cruelty to juveniles, and drug charges.
This is probably the worst case of child neglect I've seen in my 34 years of law enforcement.
Marlon Perilou and Renisha Young remain locked up without bond. Investigators say in addition to the child only weighing 19 pounds and dying of apparent malnutrition, there were also signs the child had suffered multiple injuries over his short life.
Frustrated, saddened, upset because this is a human being, a child, 5 years old, that no one saw, right? No one saw. And so to find out 14 days later, and really only because of the news, was extremely alarming.
The law does not require that the legislators be notified of that.
Currently, state law only requires a notification to lawmakers after the conclusion of a DCFS investigation.
This is, to me, is just complete epic failure.
Barrows says she'll propose changes after this 5-year-old's death.
We could change the law. And that is one of the things that we definitely will be looking at. We will be looking at changing the law as it relates to that.
Friday, neighbors told us they were stunned by the 5-year-old's death. They say the parents never asked for help.
Really don't make no sense. We're a neighborhood where somebody needs something, or we have something going on. You're more than welcome to come get a plate or any way we can help out.
Meanwhile, Barrows says the lack of notification about cases like this one have lawmakers operating without information needed to address situations like these.
We are charged with making sure that our communities are safe, that our communities are viable, and that we are informed of what's happening in our community. We can't know everything, but something of this magnitude, we should know.
Now, as a result of the discussion today, there's talk about notifications being.
Before you ask, those charges could be upgraded. Our chief investigator, Chris Nakamoto, spoke to neighbors and law enforcement who say they are sickened over this horrific case. Chris, good evening to you.
Good evening, Greg. Just terrible. Neighbors we talked to say humans treat their pets better than these parents treated their child. Tonight, an autopsy is pending, but investigators say it's unclear when the child last ate. Cell phone video obtained exclusively.
This is going to be hard for y'all to see. Let me make this bigger on the screen. If y'all are watching, please hit that thumbs up, please, please. Thank you very much. I'm going to try to make this the way y'all can see this a little bit better. All right, here we go. Let me take this one off right here.
Good evening, Greg. Just terrible. Neighbors we talked to say humans treat their pets better than these parents treated their child. Tonight, an autopsy is pending, but investigators say it's unclear when the child last ate. Cell phone video obtained exclusively by the WAFBI team captures a house of horror. Behind the door of Unit 6 at this apartment complex in Geismar, a family of 6 living in squalor. Trash strewn about, mattresses on the floor, and debris everywhere. It was in one of these rooms where detectives believe a 5-year-old child was starved to death. Neighbors are stunned.
People be treating their pets almost better than that.
Ascension Parish Sheriff's Colonel Donald Capello is haunted by the pictures of the child he saw.
This is probably the worst case of child neglect I've seen in my 34 years of law enforcement.
All of this came to light on New Year's Day when detectives say the 5-year-old's parents, Marlon Perilou and Raynisa Young, put him in a car and called 911 looking for help.
We dispatched a unit and ended up actually meeting that caller at a local gas station off Highway 73, and they started CPR on the child. And within a couple minutes, the child was transported to a local hospital where they continued to work on the child for about 45 minutes before the child just passed away. They couldn't save him.
The child, identified as Marley Perilou, was bedridden and apparently never left the house.
Well, this child was 5 years old and only weighed 19 pounds and was only 35 inches.
The WAFBI team spoke to numerous neighbors who had no idea the family they saw coming and going was, according to investigators, hiding a little secret. Many of them didn't want to go on camera, but all said the family never once asked them for help, and they would have gladly provided food for the child to eat.
We're a neighborhood where somebody needs something, or we have something going on, you're more than welcome to come get a plate or, any way we can help out.
To put it in perspective, when the coroners come out, there are body bags for adults and there's body bags for infants, and this child, 5 years old, fit in an infant body bag.
Tonight, the investigation is ongoing and charges could be upgraded against Perilou and Young. Right now, they're charged with negligent homicide, cruelty to juveniles, possession with intent to distribute drugs, and illegal carrying of weapons. They remain jailed in Ascension Parish with no bond.
Hey, little kids like that, they have no word.
So again, I want y'all to notice, let me back it up just a second. They have weapons. They have weapons. They have drugs. They have drug paraphernalia and multiple people in this house. So there's what's the excuse? You didn't have money to buy food? Oh yeah, they had money. Absolutely had money. What's the excuse for that house being as filthy as it was, besides the fact that these are just filthy, nasty, disgusting people? It wasn't for lack of funds. Drug house or not. I've seen drug houses that were actually really, really nice. On video, not in person, right? But just because, you're doing some illicit things doesn't mean that you have to be nasty on top of that. Okay? I don't know if that's controversial to say that or not, but it ain't for lack of money is all I'm saying. They was not broke. They're drug dealers.
Now they're charged with negligent homicide, cruelty to juveniles, possession with intent to distribute drugs, and illegal carrying of weapons. They remain jailed in Ascension Parish with no bond.
Hey, little kids like that, they have no word. They don't have no say-so. So we, as parents, supposed to be responsible for that, for their health, for their well-being. We their voice.
As the reality of this stunning situation sets in, detectives say this type of situation should never occur again. And if other parents are dealing with tough times, assistance is available.
We need to seek help, whether it be through a family member, whether it be through DCFS, or division of the state. But you have to seek help. You have to do whatever you can and whatever means you have to just take care of your children. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, is you have to take care of your children.
They need to be held accountable for it.
3 other children in the house were removed by the state after the parents were arrested. Tonight, the district attorney told me he will be looking to see if any other adults knew about this child's condition. And if they did, they could face charges as well. For the WAFBI team, I'm Chris Nakamoto. Greg.
Well, Chris, just a tough one for those other kids, the investigators, everybody involved. Thank you for that. We appreciate it.
Why does it seem like now all of a sudden, and maybe there's some good that YouTube channels like mine and others are doing, that they're finally starting to say if anybody knew something, anybody saw something and did not say anything, they could possibly be held accountable also. What a novel concept. And how many years ago did we present that? What, 8 years ago, 9 years ago we've been doing this channel now? A while ago. Okay? Look at this. This is from the mother's Facebook page. This tells you their state of mind, and I'm going to make this big on the screen so y'all can see this. These are trash human beings. This is the post on Facebook of a mother. Posted January the 1st of this year, 2026. Waking up from being drunk, you be so thirsty, I'm annoyed. Somebody 5 days ago, and I'm glad they post their comments, somebody said, meanwhile, your son was literally starving to death and living in squalor. I hope you get the treatment you deserve. They got money for alcohol, money for drugs, money for bullshit, but refuse to be clean, refuse to take care of their children, refuse to be good parents. For that, I don't know how much time you can get in prison. I don't know. If they gave them 20 years apiece, I wouldn't be mad. And if anybody who knew about this and didn't say anything, shame on them. But I think at some point, we need to start putting down legislation where if you see something and don't report it, y'all need to be in trouble too. Y'all need to be literally in fear of being in trouble too, okay? So to this little boy, his name was Marley. Let me see if I can get his picture back up here. So shout out again to Illicit Deeds for putting the pressure on me to find this picture, and I did find it today. It took me a couple times to find the boy's picture, but we got it. Okay, so we can pay proper tribute to him. This is Marley Perilou, Young Prince, R.I.P. So thank you guys so much for listening to the story and keeping an open mind. Continue to support this channel and support all the stories that we do, okay? Thank you.